Honestly, I feel that every nurse or every medical professional needs God. Yes, we know that everybody needs God, but I personally, because I'm a nurse, I know what it means to be a nurse. And if you're being a nurse or being a medical professional and you're not holding God tight, I feel that you are doing yourself a big disservice, both for your mental health and for yourself as an individual and for other people around you. I honestly feel that nurses will definitely need God. Medical professionals will definitely need God. In the process of serving others, we need God. In the process of maintaining our well-being, we also need God, both mentally and physically. So yeah, that is what this video is about. I want to talk about how God is making me a better nurse, and I was making this post on my community or on the community here on YouTube, and I was just talking about how God has been helping me to become a better nurse, and there are a lot of things that I feel that us as nurses, as a collective, we need to work on in order to be better nurses to our patients and also to be better work colleagues. So yeah, let's get right into the video. And the first one I want to talk about is protecting our hearts against bitterness. So yeah, in our relationship with one another, with our colleagues, with our seniors, with our matrons, with other medical professionals, people might not always treat you in the best possible way. They might even treat you badly, but the way you react is what is important. The way you react to different situations in the hospital environment, in your workplace environment, it's what is important, it's what you can control. So God has been teaching me during this work phase of my life, and just generally, that we can as individuals determine how we react to other situations, how we react to one another in different situations, but then we cannot determine how the other person reacts. So the example I used to explain this was just in the Bible where David David and Saul's relationship, when David was running away from Saul because Saul wanted to kill him. Even though David necessarily did not do anything particularly bad to Saul, but then Saul became jealous of him because people were comparing both of them, that David was doing better than Saul and just a whole lot of things. So Saul was going after David in the scriptures. So the way that David reacted, the way that David reacted to the whole situation, even when he had a point to retaliate against Saul, he did not. He still withheld himself and he did not do anything against Saul. So God has been using that particular scripture to tell me that sometimes He might do things right. He might do things so right that you'll be wondering why this other person reacting like this. Why this other person? That's what did you do wrong? That kind of thing. What did you do wrong? But then you cannot control what the other person does, but then you can control how you react to whatever situation that comes your way. And then another important pointer is that while relating with one another, we have to also protect our hearts from bitterness, because sometimes when you know that you have done everything right, you're just doing everything right, and then someone just comes up and just coming at you as if you did something wrong. You can be, if you're not careful, you can feel a little bit of anger towards them. Obviously, you will feel anger towards them, but then do not let it linger for long to the point that it starts growing to bitterness and start growing to hatred towards that person. So yeah, control your own reactions. You cannot control the other person's reaction, no matter how hard you try, no matter how well you do whatever it is that you are doing. That's the first thing we're talking about. Then compassion. Compassion is the next thing that I want to talk about. Compassion as nurses, we as nurses, we need to have compassion. We need to have compassion. And something that was bothering me when I started working as a nurse was that as I was seeing things happening, traumatic events happening in the hospital, someone is going through a lot, this other side, someone is just a lot of things happening. I don't want to use certain words on YouTube. So this is happening to this person, this other thing is happening to this person, and when you see that, it could be really really a lot. And the first time for you seeing that, you will feel it emotionally and everything, and the first couple of times you will feel it. And when it happens for a number of times, when it happens for like a couple of times, if you're not careful, you might accept it as being normal. And that is not, once you accept it as being normal, it tries to develop a wall around your house, kind of. I don't know the best way to communicate this, but it tries to develop a wall around your house that you've seen it before yesterday, so today you're seeing it is not new, so let's just move forward. You get so. But then if you approach things like that, it makes us as nurses to be hardened. And then if it's hardened, it will also show through our actions and through our inactions towards our patients. So I took it to God and I was telling God that, God, this is just how many years, less than barely 2 years that I've been working in the hospital, and I don't want to get to the point where I'm not being empathetic enough towards situations, towards different people. I'm sorry, I don't want to get emotional, but I don't want to get. I was telling God that I don't want to get to the point where I don't feel people's pain anymore, because that's why sometimes people can say that nurses are wicked and nurses are this and nurses are that, because some of the people that we see, our seniors that we see, when they are reacting like that in a certain way that is not right to patients, I cannot help but wonder that if I get to this particular age and I'm still working in the health sector and I'm still working as a nurse, will I be disheartened? That's what I was thinking to myself. So I took it to God, and God led me to the scripture that was talking about. I'll link it, Colossians, if I'm not mistaken, Colossians 3 verse 12, where it was saying that we should wear compassion, gentleness, kindness as clothes. So that scripture basically was telling us that compassion is not just a feeling. I know that we can that tend to feel it as an emotional thing at first, but then that compassion should be a decision. The way you decide to wear clothes and go out, that is the same way you should decide to wear compassion too and go about your day-to-day activities in the hospital. So make the conscious effort to always be compassionate. It's a decision that is made. It's not just a feeling. It's a decision that is made on a daily basis. Like that, you protect your heart from being hardened. Because no, I don't think anybody should be that tough to when you see traumatic events like that, you just no, please. That is not, whether you are a medical professional or not. Protect your heart. Wear compassion as clothes. And also in the scripture where Jesus Christ saw the multitude, and then he was moved with compassion towards them. After he was moved, he did not just say, I feel compassion towards them, and then he just sat back and did not do anything. He was moved by compassion, and then he healed them of their diseases. So he did something. So if we cannot say we are compassionate towards someone and then we don't make any actions, it's empty. That word it's just words. It's empty. So yeah, as we are working in the hospital as medical professionals, when we see traumatic events like that, let's make sure that we are intentionally being compassionate, not because maybe you're not feeling it. Whether you feel it or not, be compassionate intentionally. And why you're being compassionate intentionally, because yeah, I know that there's a tendency of when you see things repetitively, you just get numb in a way. But then again, the flip side of it is that when you practice something repetitively, you get perfect at it. So if you're always practicing how to be compassionate, you will also get good at it, and it will also come so freely that you won't forget that you've seen this particular thing happen to different people like 500 times. You get. So being compassionate is an intentional decision, and then being compassionate also comes with actions. It's not just us saying that we are compassionate. Yeah. So another thing I would like to talk about with this regards of God helping me to be a better nurse is what I would like to call, let's say, things that sometimes medical professionals or us we do in the hospital as per if someone does me something, I want to do them back. How what would I call it now? Is it oral for oral? That's what I titled it in my community post. But then, yeah, there are sometimes that when someone does something bad to us, we keep it in our hearts and then we are planning on how we are going to do them back. Or we are planning for the perfect opportunity so that we'll show them that they cannot treat us anyhow, they cannot treat us disrespectfully. You know, those kind of things. But then I feel like we are supposed to have grown past that by now, because if your kindness in your heart or your love in your heart is only triggered by how the other person reacts to you or how the other person treats you, then it's not really you being kind, it's not really you being showing love or you leading with love. Because Jesus Christ who told us that we should love our enemies. So your colleagues are not your enemies, that they're just maybe someone that maybe annoyed you one day or two. They're not your enemies, they are your friends. So if you're waiting or you're planning how you will do someone back, or one of your colleagues, one of your nurses did something bad to you and you're planning that you will do them back, I don't know what to say, but it's not supposed to be so. It's not supposed to be so. We're supposed to lead with love. We are not supposed to wait for the other person to show us love first before we then lead by it or before we then follow suit. No. Sometimes some people, especially when it comes to patients, when it comes to our relationship with patients, we're not supposed to expect that from patient, that patient has to treat you well first before you treat them well. No, nothing like that. Because if we know God as love, it will be easy for us to show love to other people. It will be easy for us to show love to our patients. Most of them are going through a lot. I know that is not really an excuse to treat people badly or not, but still, do not wait for someone to treat you right first before you treat them right. In fact, be the first one to show the action so that you know that as you're showing this action first, it's coming out of from a place of care and love towards your patients or towards your colleagues. And like that, you have a cordial work environment, you have a peaceful work environment, and not all this back and forth. Not all this back and forth, honestly. So guys, that is it for this video. I have a lot of things to say concerning this issue about how God is making me a better nurse, and I feel like every nurse needs God and needs God to work on them so that it can just be better. You don't want to have worked in the workforce. I don't know if that's your plan, but you don't want to have worked in the hospital setting and then you're reaching to the age of 30 and so, and you're already being so tough. Like, no, yes. And that is it for this video. I hope that I hope that you understand what I said, and maybe share to a nurse that you think will benefit or a medical professional. And I'll see you guys in my next video.